Hey guys, Ricardo here and welcome to another Blog Tech Tips. As a part of our continued tutorials, I'm going to continue by showing you a disassembly of this particular Acer, which is of course the Acer Aspire, and this Acer Aspire is an Aspire 5 and it's the specific version A5155137V1. Even if you do not have this specific version, any Acer Aspire within the Aspire 5 series should have a similar makeup, and the disassembly or the tutorial on opening this up should go the same. All right, so I'm going to show you how to actually go about opening this up so you can actually change out parts. Could be the hard drive, motherboard, you name it. All right, so the first thing you want to do is make sure that your device is shut down. Go to the power menu and shut down. Close the cover. You're going to remove any peripherals if you have anything connected. Next, you're going to flip over. Now, the first thing you want to do, or next thing you want to do, is get a screwdriver set. You don't have to use mine. This is one that I've been using for a while. I'm just going to assemble it. A standard Phillips screwdriver should work with a star tip. So, of course, I'm just going to look for a general star tip. Standard should work. So, usually, if you want a measurement, think one of these. I usually just go by looks. So one of these should work. So as you can see, something relative around this size. These are the two right here. So I'm going to put back this one. All right, so I'm going to close this up and get a tip. All right, so first things first, this design has quick access hatches. This is for the memory compartment. This is for the hard drive. So the first thing I'm going to do is going to remove the hard drive. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the screw. I might skip parts of this to save time. So I'm going to remove this. All right, so first part removed successfully. All right, make sure you keep track of your screws. All right, so here's the hard drive. Again, you'll notice that there are 4 sections holding down the hard drive. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to remove all 4 of these. I'm going to pause, come back whenever this is finished. All right, so of course, guys, as you can see, we remove these small screws. So go ahead and capture all your screws. We put them in the general area, or the same area generally. All right, so I'm going to remove 4. All right, so check this out, guys. I'm going to lift up here. As you can see, there's this anti-static shield to protect the hard drive itself. So we can lift using the static shield. Now be very careful. There is a header up here that connects the hard drive. Go ahead and you can remove this by rocking it loose. There you go. So the hard drive is removed, and what I'm going to do here is going to place it on the back cover over here or up here. All right, so as you can see here, this connector is going to dangle a bit. Next, just to be on the safe side, I usually just remove this section as well for the back cover for the memory. There you go, it's removed. And place this over here as well. And as you can see, this is for the extension of the memory for additional memory slot. Next, we're going to remove all of these screws. So this main areas for the screws are here. So I'm just going to remove all of these. And as you can see, there's several here. So let's go ahead and start removing them. So you can simply start removing screws. Relatively easy. So go all the way around. I usually do these in order to make sure I don't miss any. Make sure you get these in the center as well. I'll come back as soon as this is finished as well. Alright guys, so we have removed all the screws. As you can see up here, these are the screws. We have removed all of them. Now there's a lot of them, so make sure that you check each hole after you finish removing every single screw. Make sure you run through once more just to be on the safe side. Alright, so once the screws are removed, we're going to start opening at the side here. Now there is a groove right here. And this groove is not the front cover, so it's basically the lower half of the laptop here, which is the bottommost half. We're going to get into the groove. Your fingers might be able to do the trick. I do not recommend to use your fingers. However, if you have a used credit card, an old credit card, do not use new credit card or old ID. You can simply run it into the grooves. I have a flat tip screwdriver here. Gonna just simply get it into here. I do not recommend this. You have to be very careful. However, kind of experience with this, so I can judge it. So simply get it between the grooves It's a bit tricky, so do forgive me for the camera angle here for a bit. So all I did was just to get this into the groove. And as you can see here, I do not shove this all the way in. It's just in just a bit, just to separate, or cause separation. I'm gonna turn it up and you can hear the separation there. So it starts to snap once I shove it in a bit. Here, if you have a card, I would start using my card here in case the card wasn't able to get in here in the first place, or use a combination of this and the card, or just simply use the card. All right, so what I'm going to do now is just get my finger here between the grooves, and I'm going to try to run my fingers along here. I'm going to use the screwdriver, sorry, the tip of my screwdriver on loosen another section. There you go, you can hear it removing and snapping apart. Once I get enough separation, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way around. You can hear it breaking off. One rule while doing this, guys, make sure that you never force anything. If you try to force anything, what cannot miss that? Something might break. If something is giving you resistance, check to see in the area of the resistance if there's a screw. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to lift. All right, so come to the other side. If you're getting resistance on one side, try the other side. So I'm going to work along here. There you go. And as you can see here, I have gotten all of the screws. Now, very important here, never yank off the back. Take your time, work your way around, keep both halves together as best as possible. Now, just in case there's something beneath here that's snagged, you're gonna take your time, see if there's anything beneath here so we can look. And if you see or notice anything here that's connected, you might have to disconnect a speaker if there's anything on the lower side, but luckily this one is contained and there's no need. So there's the back cover here, guys. As you can see, this is the innermost part, so there's nothing on this side. I'm gonna put this aside. All right, so here we have the main board. All right, so as you can see now, this is what the laptop looks like on the inside. All right, so you can see all of the main components. All right, from here you can get to anything that you need to replace. For example, here I'm not going to do the entire disassembly. From here you usually can do what you need, so I'm just going to point out some key portions to keep in mind. All right, first things first, the battery here, as you can see here, it's screwed into place. There's a screw here, there's a screw here, and of course there should be another one somewhere if I'm not mistaken, but there should be 2 to 3 screws, maybe 2 in this case. All right, so you're going to remove these screws. You need a very fine bit screwdriver to remove those, so bear that in mind. Once you remove those, next you would remove the connector. Let me show you the connector for the battery. So here's the battery connector right here. You can identify it as it's the same connection that runs from the battery and it connects to the motherboard here. So you can actually disconnect it from here and then you remove the battery. It comes right off and replace it. Just in case you're gonna go and disconnect the keyboard, this connector right here is the keyboard. Bear in mind that this particular laptop, its power button is built into the keyboard, so do remember that if you disconnect the keyboard, that you will also disconnect the ability to power up the laptop. In some other laptops, they do separate it as a additional power button. I like that design better when it's separated from the keyboard. All right, never try to disconnect the keyboard while the battery is attached. So if you're going to remove the keyboard or disconnect the keyboard for some reason, remove the battery first, then disconnect the keyboard so you can actually place it in properly. If you try to do it with the battery in, you'll never get enough clearance to properly connect it, and you might find that the laptop is not powering on. You have to still remove the battery and properly connect back the keyboard with enough clearance and do the battery again, and the laptop will power up. All right, as you can see over here, this is the entirety of the motherboard. You can see the fan for cooling. There's a heat sink to the processor over here. All right, and of course you can see the peripherals on the side here for your USB ports, power, and of course your other connectors here, including HDMI and your other ports. Here's your speaker over here, and of course this is it majorly. Do be reminded as well, guys, that this type of keyboard is not like the easy change keyboard. If you're going for the keyboard, it's very difficult. If you do not know what you're doing, I suggest that you actually get a professional to do it, as it's deep in here. I have a separate video that shows a similar motherboard with a keyboard that was changed. I can link that as well, so you can ask for that. All right, so you'd have to remove all of this to get to the keyboard on the far side and place back almost everything back in. All right, so I think this basically sums it up. I've given you a walkthrough. In order to fit this back up, simply replace the back cover and of course return the screws and you should be good to go. If you can't remember the layout, I suggest you take pictures so you can remember what goes where. And you can see all of the other peripherals here, including the Wi-Fi card and so on. All right, so I'm going to end the tutorial here. As always, if you have any feedback, please do so in the comments. Ricardo saying bye until next time, guys. Bye.